What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GGBL. We've got the off season for season 6, heading into season 7. We got a little wheel spin simulator here tonight, and most of the video today is just going to be wheel spinning and determining where these players are going. And we do have a system in place. We're going to start off with the custom players. And as you guys know, custom players do have the option if they're going to stick with the team that they are an exclusive free agent with, like Chucky Pinkard, DJ Taylor. They have a choice. Do you want to stay or do you want to leave? And if you are leaving, you have to give me a top 5 list of teams that you'd want to join. So in the case of Chucky Pinkard, he decided he wanted to leave and test free agency. Gave me a list of 5 teams. We wheel spun it. He's going to head out to Miami. Now, for DJ Taylor, we didn't have a wheel spin for him because he's going to elect to stay. Alexi Jimenez is a CPU guy, not a custom player. He doesn't get a wheel spin until a little bit later, where we're going to have to make the decision for him if he's going to stay or leave. Tom Cloutier, big player, very, very good player for any team that's joining. He's going to leave Boston, and he's going to head out to St. Louis. So that's a big move for the Maroons. They need a big bat. They're going to go get it with Tom Cloutier. Now, we scroll through a couple other teams. They don't have anybody that would be leaving or wanting to test free agency as far as customs go. That's who we're going to focus on in the early going. Nolan Mitchell goes back to the Swamp Monsters. And I say back to the Swamp Monsters because back in another universe, back in GGBL 21, with MLB The Show 21, that's where he started. He pitched for Washington, so it's kind of funny that gave me a top 5, and that's where he's going to land. Now, Absol Jericho, he is going to leave Chicago and head out to New York. New York is an interesting spot. Now that we've got Baza Beasley, former starter for them, and he actually performed really well as one of the Rookie of the Year candidates way back when, he's kind of lost his favor with New York, and I'm not sure what is going on there with him and the organization. But now that they acquired Absol Jericho, there's not really any time for Baza Beasley to play, so he wants out. He's requesting a trade, so that's news for a later date. David Gonzalez and Reagan Landish, 2 really good custom players here for Wisconsin. Of course, you guys know that they made a big push in the postseason. Of course, David Gonzalez coming over just a year ago as a free agent. They acquired Reagan Landish from New York, and now both those guys want out. So Reagan's going to head out to Miami, and David Gonzalez is going to head out to Carolina. So both Wisconsin Maples players heading out to the NL East. It's like the NL East smells blood, man. They smell blood in the water now that Ricky Holderman's retired, and of course the Good Boys have a couple of changes. They're losing a couple of key players to that team. And now Grayson Fields up here as well. He wants out of San Antonio, and he's also going to head to the NL East. Was teetering there with St. Louis and Orlando. Kind of gives you a little insight to how those negotiations have gone, right? He's got a couple offers from both those teams. Could have gone either way, but he's going to head out to Orlando. Now, KAJ, he also wants out. He's going to test free agency. Of course, he didn't really want to go to San Antonio. He was traded away from Richmond to San Antonio, and they really failed this season with James Monroe and KAJ. Boston is going to end up signing KAJ, and of course, news articles coming out there. Quote from KAJ, "Boston just fits me at this stage in my career. There's been a lot of great players here who haven't gotten it done, and I want to be the guy that does." So that is a direct shot across the bow at Ricky Holderman, former Boston Revolution here in this series. Tom Cloutier, again, now that he's gone to St. Louis. So, of course, in KAJ style, he's going after, he's targeting, he's being toxic. He wants to reel these people into a PR battle. And, of course, Ricky Holderman and Tom Cloutier probably not going to bite on the bait set forth by KAJ. So the Cardinals will end up getting CC Chavez. Chavez was rumored as trying to be traded away from Colorado now that his age is getting up there a little bit, and he didn't really want any part of that, right? So you guys voted against that trade, and that's really speaking for CC. He didn't want to be traded. So now that he gets a chance at free agency, he's going to go to Columbus, where he sees a chance at playing a little bit more and revitalizing his career that seems to be lost in Colorado right now. Boston does sign Satchel Michaels, a roster revolution. Getting a taste of what a championship is like in Colorado, fighting through adversity there afterward, being traded and contending in a playoff spot just to fall short, then being able to team up with a young roster, and Kenneth makes it feel like this is a perfect opportunity for me to continue playing winning baseball. I'm ready for it, says Satchel Michaels. So, of course, Boston now getting a big-time left-handed bat with KAJ, and now a two-way player and a big power bat with Satchel Michaels. That's absolutely huge for the Revolution. So that team probably winning the offseason at this point. That's my hot take right now. Of course, we've still got a bunch of players left to sign. No telling exactly where those guys are going quite yet. But as of right now, Boston's winning the offseason with KJ and Satchel. Now, of course, this is really cool because my guy goes to Richmond. I made a top 5 for Rubio Moya, 98 overall player. So we lose Ricky Hoberman to retirement. Now we've got this Benny Blanco, Rubio Moya team up here. I think with Addison playing catcher, Moya is definitely going to be the starting catcher now. He's definitely better on defense. He's a little bit better on offense. So Addison seems like he's going to end up moving to the outfield now with Clifford Durham being gone as well. I mean, he could decide to stay because he is a non-custom guy. He's a CPU dude, and that's exactly what we're going to cover right here. And I'm not going to do this for every single CPU guy 85 and up. I'm just going to show you an example of what we're looking at here. So yes means they are testing free agency. So it's more like a question to the player. Are you going to test free agency? Yes or no? So if it does land on no, they're going to be staying with the team that they're an exclusive free agent on. So for in the case of Killian Graham, perfect example here, the wheel's perfect because it just gives me these perfect examples for you guys. So Killian Graham is going to stick around since he landed on no. Alexi Jimenez landed on yes. So he's now going to test free agency. So now you can see that we went ahead and just did all the wheel spins, and I do have a video recording of that, but I'm not going to bore you guys and go through all that. So anyone here that's 85 and up, remember, anyone that's 85 and below is an automatic free agent. They're not re-signing with their team. Anyone who's 85 and up, who's a non-custom player, like Riley Barr, Ryan Shannon, 2 examples there. We've got Ricky Piper, an example right there, Derek Hardy. Those players, right, if they have a contract offered with the team, they landed on no. They're not going to test free agency. They're coming back to their team, just like Julian Lorenz. Ruffing is going to be a free agent. So he landed on yes, he's going to test. Damian Smoove landed on no, he's going to stick around. Rick White is now going to leave. So it seems like seems like Miami, at least he feels like there's a mass exodus happening there. Might have been a little bit too preemptive, right, of a decision. You're now getting Reagan Landish and Chucky Pinkard, 2 pretty good custom players. So imagine if both those guys stayed. Imagine if Satchel stayed and Rick White decided to stay. Miami would be that much better. You guys saw that Clifford Durham for Richmond does elect free agency, so that was a really good thing that we were able to get a guy like Rubio Moya to kind of make up for that loss of Durham and Holberman. So, guys, let's now go ahead and talk about how the rest of the offseason is going to work. All right, guys, so now that all the wheel spinning and all the housekeeping is done, went ahead and went into free agency and just made sure that everyone had their offers completed and made sure that everybody is assigned where they're supposed to go. So, of course, this is all set to manual, so there's no chance that any team like Columbus is going to come in here and offer a Rubio Moya a offer, or like Chucky Pinkard. Like, where these guys are going to go, they're going to go. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make sure that each one of these guys that has an offer attached to them right now, they go ahead and they get signed there. And then once that's done, everyone's signed, then I'm going to turn this on to auto. And everyone that does not have a contract offer, meaning probably the best player that's available right here that doesn't have an offer assigned, is Alexi Jimenez. Then you got Clifford Durham, Donald Caros, Derek Hardy, Rick White. So any of these guys that do not have an offer assigned, we're going to go ahead and turn this on to auto. Basically so that the CPU has the full control on who goes where at that point. So there is a little bit of chaos, and I feel like this is the best way to do it. Just because, me personally, like, I'm kind of happy that Richmond won it, but on the other end, I do want to see a little bit more of some chaos happening in the league. I don't want to see the same teams over and over and over again. I'm sure that you guys don't want to see that either. So guys like Mata, guys like Jordan, guys like not Holberman, Shannon, right? Danny Marmot, Joey Ruffing, those types of players. Hopefully that teams will sign them up. I'm also going to turn on 40-man roster to auto. That way that if the CPU decides to put people on the 40-man to protect them from the Rule 5 draft, then fine. But if they want to let them go, then fine as well. The only reason why I want to turn that on to auto is just because it's just a lot to manage, and I kind of want to just get through this offseason. I don't want to just get in and make the decisions here again, because I'm rooting for chaos this season. I'm rooting for a flip in the league, and I think that it would be good for a rebalancing. So I'm going to turn this on to auto. Maybe the CPU puts people on, maybe it doesn't. I don't know how it's going to work, but it's got a mind of its own. But I will be taking control of arbitration and tendering contracts just to make sure that, because the CPU, for whatever reason, even if you decided, guys, if you decided to do CPU control, even in your own solo franchise, there's a lot of times where the CPU just does not. If you turn this on to auto, it just does not go ahead and sign these people. So it basically throws your entire franchise for a loop. It just does not make some very good decisions, very smart decisions. So I'm going to take control of the money aspect of things. And then as far as the day-to-day things go, like 40-man management, I'm going to turn that on to auto, and we'll see what happens here. Interesting development right here. Because of the 40-man roster decision to leave this on CPU control, we do have some names here like Ethan Lederman, Johnny Hammer, and Aiden Myhill going down to unconditional release waivers. So basically, this means that if no team puts a claim on these players, they will end up going to free agency, which is exactly what I'm going to do, is just get them to free agency and let the CPU decide where they're going to go. Aiden Myhill is a big piece here for some teams. He's been pitching for Atlanta, and he's never had a winning season. So, of course, that just lends itself to, maybe you're not cut out for this. But he's actually got a pretty good overall rating and a B potential too. He's still relatively young. Johnny Hammer, good overall rating, but never been one of those guys. You can see his numbers are just never really that great. And then, of course, Ethan Lederman never really put it together. He's been in the GGBL for 10 years. This is all dating back to prior to that we actually started a video series, right? He's got 10 years of GGBL service, but he's never really taken the next step, and I think LA is just looking to move on. So we do have some other players here, like Cleet Braxton. I know he was a good boy at one point. So yeah, this is Vic Flutie, good boy. We got a lot of Kosuke Fong, former good boy, and San Diego Gaucho. Yeah, so there's some movement here happening with the CPU taking control of things. So we still have guys like Grayson Fields, Taylor, Michaels, Cloutier, Nolan Mitchell still up on the board here, Everett, Gonzalez. They're just taking their slow, sweet time, and I think this is how it's going to go. Ricky Rudy still deciding, Kenneth Alexander Jr., Reagan Landish, Lorenz, Warren, but it is getting a little bit figured out now, right? We're slowly getting there. No other customs are down here that are rated that low, but slowly but surely. But we're running out of time here because I do have to make some arbitration calls and get every one of these guys signed up here. Plus, tender contracts deadline is December 2nd. So, all right, guys, arbitration is completed. Of course, people that do not have an offer are because the CPU decided to put them on waivers. So I'm going to try to get Ton Roberts back to Minnesota. I'll try to possibly get Gino Fiore back to Pittsburgh. But, most of these guys, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really break the team chemistry or the team makeup. You know what I mean? Like Chris Perez at a 29, aged 81, like maybe, right? Colorado might need that pitcher to come back. But I'll have to make that call at a later time, I feel like. I got to think about it a little bit more. But tender contracts, this is always a tough one, man, because look at this list. Like, I got to go through and... God. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So to get this video out for you guys, because what I want to do is I want to get you guys to know, like, where Jimenez is going, where Karros is going, where Durham is going, that type of thing. So I wanted to get the CPU involved. So I'm kind of backtracking a little bit here. You're kind of listening to me live, thinking about it. I'm kind of backtracking here because this tender contracts thing is so important. It's so important. Like, watch what happens here. If I go ahead and I save this up, again, I'm kind of doing this live. This is one thing I like about the GGBL channel is I can do things a little bit off the cuff. I don't have to be super professional here with the production quality. But let's take Washington, for example. Watch what it's going to do here with all of these guys. There's going to be some guys that it doesn't decide to even offer a contract to. Just watch what happens here. Okay, so we simmed a day. All right, look at what it's done now. It's not even offering Alex Rogers a contract. It's got $85 million to play with, and we are just not even approaching any of these guys, right? All their contracts are renewable. And maybe the CPU is just waiting around, waiting for a decision to be made, right? But let's keep going. What did it do? It got a couple guys. Not everybody, though, right? There's still some people here in the C's, right? What about this guy? Like Felipe Vasquez, 31 years old, A potential. Like, you don't think you need that for any sort of depth purposes there? Like minor leagues? That's really what I'm getting at. The minor league system becomes... not filled, right? We've got 74 people on this roster. You need 93. You need a 93-man organization. So it's and that's including people that don't have a contract currently, meaning these guys like Albert Madrid, 23 years old, 79C. Like, that's a guy that I would offer a tender contract to. Joaquin Hinojosa, that's a guy that I would offer a contract to. Nick Caminiti, right? So you can't trust the CPU when doing contracts on the auto for tender contracts. So I have to go through and do all this manually. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn contracts onto manual, and I'm going to handle those. But what I want to do, and this is kind of, again, me backtracking a little bit, let's do it like we've always done it. I wanted to get the CPU involved, but I think it might be a little... I'm not gonna be able to get it done. I can't get 30 teams tender contract done in the amount of time that I need to post this video. That's just a lot of, making sure that the numbers are right. Like 20. I don't want to offer Cedric Dorman a 5-year deal. Let's offer him a 3-year deal and get that down a little bit here so we're saving some money. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take a little bit more attention to detail. So we're not, and I know that money doesn't matter, but I don't want to offer some guys like 5-year contracts. It's insane. Like Alex Rogers, 31 years old, five years. Like, that's crazy. So this is going to take me a couple days to get this done for all 30 teams. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right down the list like we've always done. Again, I'm reminded of that. And we're going to put Alexi Jimenez on a wheel spin. And we're going to list out all the GGBL teams. And wherever Jimenez lands, that's where he's going to go. Regardless of depth chart, regardless of all that, these players are good enough to start for a lot of teams. They will find places to play, right? Jimenez will find a way to get involved in that bullpen. All right, so the first team to go get a big free agent. Let's do this live, guys. Alexi Jimenez, where are you going? We got 30 entries here. Where are you going? Houston. Wow. So Houston is an interesting spot because they've got so many closers. So many closers. In fact, let's go over to Houston, and I will show you what their situation looks like here with the roster. So their closing situation, they've got Nolot, Spears, and Aranoku. So, I mean, Aranoku's not really ready yet, but Spears has been dying for his chance. I mean, he's got 46 and 2/3 innings, so he's basically like a setup guy. But that just bolsters their bullpen as it is. So, I think it's a good addition for them, and I'm good with that. So, 35 years old, I mean, hey, why the heck not? Offer him a 2-year deal, and just get in and get out. So, which leads us now to Donald Caros. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to remove Houston from the list. Since they've already got a 90-plus overall player, we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel now for Donald Caros, a 90 overall right fielder. Where is he going to go here? He is going to sign with Seattle? No, Vancouver. So let's now draw for Durham. Watch it be Richmond. That's how it would work. Watch it be Richmond. He's coming back. He's coming back. No. Atlanta. That's a good place for him. Actually, you know what's funny? As I kind of mentioned this at the very beginning, the NL East, with Ricky Holberman's retirement, the NL East seems to be like smelling blood. You know? They're smelling blood, man. They're going after Richmond, it feels like. So this is going to be big for their offense, man. It's going to be really big for their offense. They got Hayden Carver. They've got, of course, the two young guys. We'll take a look at what they've got going on here. So they got Pinkard, Carver, they got Rosario, they got a new pitcher with Riker Struzak, right? They just drafted him. Strudwick's on the up and up. Crawfish McGee, Paul Andrews. They got a good offense, man. But now you throw in another outfielder like Clifford Durham. Again, they got some young guys coming up here like David Booker, right? He's not a custom player, but yeah, this is big for them. You know, we've had Miami make a lot of moves, we've had Orlando make a lot of moves, and now Atlanta getting in on the fun. Yeah, NL East is popping off right now. All right, Derek Hardy, next player to go. And some people, you know, hey, you might find this interesting, you might find it boring. It is what it is. So let's see, we've had Jimenez, Caros, Durham, and so Derek Hardy is the next man up, a closer. And he actually pitched for San Antonio for all these years. And he's going to end up heading out to Michigan. The Michigan Mallards on the board now. Derek Hardy, a closer. We'll offer him 3 years. Not that it matters with the number of dollars. David Gonzalez, we got Tristan Everett. They're already signed up here. But Rick White, that's a big one. That's a big one. Where is Rick White going to head out here to? Now, did I remove? We should have, 26 entries there. Rick White, very solid pitcher, 33 years older now. He's been with Miami for a few years. He's going to go to Phoenix. Whoa! That's actually pretty sweet. So Phoenix is going to bolster up that already really good rotation. They're going to get one of the better pitchers in the GGBL here. He wants to be an ace, but that's just not going to happen. And we'll offer him 3 years. 3 years is just like a really good number. But yeah, so we'll take a look at their roster. They got Clark, Ramos Jr., Montoya, Nakamura. They got Welburn, Kirkland. Like, dude, Phoenix, now they get Rick White. He wants to join that rotation. Try going up against Rick White with your number 4 starter against their number 4 starter, which would now be Rick White. Like, he's an ace for most teams. That's crazy to me. So Phoenix gets a really good pitcher, man. Really good pitcher. So Ricky Rudy already signed up. Landish, we got to get him signed up. And then we got Dominic Burgos. Dominic Burgos, where are you going, buddy? 84 overall. And he pitched for Colorado. He was a GGBL champion pitcher there for Colorado. He's going to go with the Sun Sox. Look at the NL East, man. All these teams just keep loading up. They smell blood in the water, man. They are going after it. So Burgos going to sign up with the Sun Sox, and I'll offer that. That's fine. 3 years. Sechrist. What about Sechrist? Where are you going to go? Where are you headed? We got 24 teams that would suit you. Where are you headed? Chicago. Okay? So maybe, Chicago doesn't have a whole lot going on. Of course, they always need the help. Chicago is just one of those teams that... Oops. It actually should have been Giancarlo Mata, not Burgos. So I did a little mess up there. I was actually sorted by pitchers. So if we come back down here, everybody signed up. We got Gonzalez, White, right? We did the right thing here. But Mata is the next man up. It's all screwed up. So Mata is the next guy up. This was Burgos's spin. It should have gone Hardy, Mata, not Burgos. So we do have this corrected. So we got Sun Sox signing Mata. And then we've got Burgos going to Chicago. All right, Ken Jordan. Where are you headed? You've got now 23 teams that would suit you. And it's a little tough. I hope he goes somewhere where a third baseman is needed. Nashville. That's actually a really good spot for him. I love how the wheel spin just works sometimes, man. Nashville. They lost Walker Lettieri to Seattle a few years ago. They need some more offensive firepower, and I think he will end up giving that to them. He's looking for like he's looking for a longer term deal. He's like 30, he'll be 36. But this is something that Nashville likes to do. They like to overspend and just spend like drunken sailors. But you can see like what they're working with here. They desperately need a third baseman, and they're like, you know what? Hey, 6 years, man, I don't care. Just stay here. We need something, right? We need something. Ricky Holberman. He's going somewhere else. I've made the decision. He's an 87 overall player right now. I can use some upgrades to channel points for him. I can use some upgrades to channel points. And he's coming out of retirement. He had a couple of weeks off, and he's like, you know what? I want to play again. I want to play one more year. So Ricky Holberman is coming out of retirement, and I am putting him on the wheel spin for anyone. 22 teams he could sign with. He is a GGBL champion for the first time ever in his career. Hall of Fame caliber player. I think he's probably going to be more of a DH at this point. Because his fielding numbers are a little bit off. He might even play first base for somebody. But if he signs with somebody where he's not going to play a whole lot of time, that's just that is what it is. He's the type of player right now. He's 38 years old, so he's got to take what comes. So let's see where he goes. I'm open to anything. Watch it be a team I hate, like LA. Oh, New Orleans! Let's go! Let's go! Dude, I love the wheel spin. Let's go, man. New Orleans. We have been trying to get New Orleans on the right track for years, right? So, it's just like Ricky Holberman to lend a hand. It's just like Ricky Holberman to lend a hand. So, you know what? He's going to New Orleans. He understands what's at stake here with the New Orleans swing. That's awesome, man. You know what? He'll play for 2 more years. He'll be 40 by the time he retires. Well, we'll see how much regression hits. And you know what? It's perfect. It's perfect for New Orleans. They need a veteran like that. They got a young team. Coop Waller, Clark Griffin, Giuliani, David Valentine, Blaze Ers. Right? They got a young team. They need a guy like Ricky to be their man. And he comes back to teach George Peralta. And it sucks for Peralta because he just got moved on from Richmond, right, to New Orleans. He finally got a chance to play. He can play shortstop a little bit, but, you know, Waller is there, so it's not much you can do there. Unless Waller's a DH. But it looks like Ricky Holderman's gonna play here for New Orleans and hopefully make a big impact. So, yeah, congratulations, New Orleans. You get yourself a GGBL champion, baby. Let's go. All right. Ryan Shannon, next player up. He was a former LA Knight and Iowa Reaper. So let's see what the wheel has to say here. Where is Ryan Shannon going to go? He will head on out here to New York. New York. Where are we at here? Ryan Shannon, 86 overall player. Going to New York. Let's take a look at the roster. We've got Brody Bush. We'll offer him a contract right now. We'll do 3 years, every day. Boom. There you go. All right, so what are we looking at here with the infield? We got Randall James, Zaza Wiedenbaker, Brody Bush, Junquan Park. So there's really not a ton of, really not a ton of spot to play for Ryan Shannon. But maybe Brody Bush is more of a DH. Maybe they're just kind of tired of Bush there at the DH or at the third base spot. Because let's see, how many errors did he make there? 10 errors. He makes double digits in errors every year. So maybe Ryan Shannon is the type of player that they say, you know what, we kind of like, you're more of a complete third baseman. So, I mean, it's not a bad move. It's kind of funny how the wheel works sometimes. All right, Danny Marmot, next man up. What do we got? Wheel, take us home, man. We got 20 more teams to figure out. So Danny Marmot is a Las Vegas Nugget. And with the relievers, this league needs relievers, so I'm not going to just, keep looking at rosters and things. But we'll get them signed up here. Danny Marmot going to Vegas. He wants to be a closer, actually. Which, actually, that's not going to really work. He's going to have to be a bullpen guy. All right, next man up. Joey Ruffing, outfielder. And then we got Elliott Scott Gallegos, former Las Vegas Nugget, which is kind of perfect that, they lose a guy like Gallegos and then they acquire a guy like Marmot. That works. Joey Ruffing, outfielder. Everybody here needs outfielders. 19 teams. Where you going, bud? Where are you going? Carolina? Kansas City. Kansas City. The Monarchs. Go ahead and remove that. Where are you at here? Joey Ruffing. What's the roster looking like? Yeah, it's kind of crowded. It is kind of crowded. Joey, I don't know if you're going to play a whole lot. You're going to be like a pinch runner guy. They're paying a lot of money, $18.3 million for a pinch runner guy. Kind of crazy. All right, Elliott Scott, you're up next. I'm really hoping the good boys can get an outfielder. Losing Clifford Durham like that, we could use it. But Elliott Scott going to San Francisco. Next, we got Gallegos, Chris, Bender, Benitez, Cavedo, Castaneda, Cora, Rush, Sechrist. Yeah, so we still got some ways to go, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wheel spin here from this point forward. We're starting to get into some depth guys, but I'm going to call out the player. You kind of already have an idea of who's coming up here. And the names should pretty much ring a bell. So I'm just going to list them off, and we're just going to wheel spin to get this thing get this thing done here. So, all right, Francesco Gallegos. He is going to head out to Washington. All right, James Chris, 84 overall, second baseman. I don't know if a lot of teams need some second baseman, but he is going to head out to Seattle. Honestly, that's a pretty good fit for him. They like defense. I think they do need a second baseman of some sort, of some caliber. I'm going to actually look for you real quick here. They have Avante Duckworth. They've got Duckworth, Chris Irvin, and Damian Campbell. Damian Campbell's 28 years old, 79 overall. But the good thing with Chris is he can play third and short. And right now they have Walker Litzier at a 79 overall, so maybe Chris ends up playing a little bit of third base, just a touch. So there you go. So Chris going out there. Next up is Damian Bender, the closer. He used to pitch for Colorado, and he's going to head out to Wisconsin. All right, sounds good. Wisconsin needs some help there. Alexis Benitez. I'm going to spin it, and I'll show you guys who we're talking about here. Benitez, Cavedo, and Castaneda are next. And we've got Benitez going to San Diego, which I think, where did he play? He actually played for Vegas all these years. Good hitter, but San Diego's going to, I mean, they need all the offensive help they can get, right? They're not against it. They've got Cornelius Kane and Nick Vandenboom. So that's a solid get for them. Ezra Cavedo, he's next here. We all know about Ezra Cavedo, one of the most clutch hitters in all of the league, and he's going to head out here to OKC. I don't know if he's going to start a whole lot at OKC. They do have a ton of outfielders there, but that still is a very good ad for him. So he is a GGBL champion, and he's going to head out to another GGBL champion organization. Next is Richie Castaneda, the pitcher from San Diego. He's going to head out to St. Louis. That's a pretty good ad. Elliot Cora, watch. This is going to be Richmond. We're going to get Elliot Cora, and he's just washed. He's washed. You know, that's a great place for him. Elliot Cora. he's going to go to Pittsburgh. That's just what they do. They get washed up pitchers. Boyd Rush is next. And I don't know if you guys remember Boyd Rush, but there he is. He used to pitch for Houston, and he was acquired at the deadline one year. But he mostly pitched at Houston. So he's going to head out to Columbus. So that's a good addition there. Henry Sechrist, 83 overall pitcher. You guys know him full and well. He used to pitch for Washington. He is going to be a LA Knight. They need that. They need the depth. He'll probably end up being like a long reliever at that point. Let's get a little update here with the list. This is all for transparency. So we got Paul Niebley. This dude pitched for Boston. Pretty solid pitcher, honestly. He's never really been a closer. Probably that's what he's looking to do at age 29, but he's mostly been a setup guy, mostly a holds guy. So we'll see where he's going to head out here too. But he was with Boston. Boston's still up on the wheel spin right here, and he's going to head out to Carolina. So again, the NL East continues to add some really good players. Next guy, Franz Kopatic, formerly a Boston Revolution pitcher. He will be a Colorado Coyote. Ain't it just like Franz? Ain't it just like Franz to be kind of goofy? Good luck, man. You're going to be in that mile high air. Good luck. Okay, hey, look. Gene Slaughter, Joey Singer, Omar Ruiz, Nolan Pack, John Fletcher, Shane Venner, Darryl Vargas, Will Smith. Yeah, some familiar names here. But wouldn't this be kind of funny if Mr. Gene Slaughter, I can't get rid of him. The Richmond's still up here, and we're actually real close to Richmond landing on it. So wouldn't it be hilarious if Gene Slaughter comes back to Richmond? It looks like that's not going to happen. He will land on Miami. So he's going to get a little bit of revenge. He's like, you guys didn't want to sign me? I'll head on out here to Miami. All right, Joey Singer is next. Formerly a Pittsburgh Hammer. Solid hitter. good hitter. And it's just like I called it, man, in my head. Let's go. Richmond. Going to get an extra outfielder. We needed it. We needed it. Losing a guy like Clifford Durham. I'm not saying that Joey Singer is Clifford Durham, but you know what? I've always liked Joey Singer back in his Pittsburgh days. Like, look at what this guy has done since the GGBL started. Not a heavy average guy, but when he got going, like look at the numbers he was posting. You know, can chip in a couple stolen bases here and there. Can give you a good OBP, right? Give you some home runs. Good, solid, consistent doubles hitter. I like Joey Singer. He's old at 36, but he's had himself a nice career, and that's going to be a good addition there for Richmond. Next guy up, Omar Ruiz, Nolan Pack, John Fletcher, Shane Venner. And we've only got 4 guys left to go. So Boston will get Omar Ruiz. And that's this dude right here. Omar Ruiz, good fielder. Boston's had a really good offseason. Very sneakily good offseason to get Satchel Michaels, then to go out and get KAJ. You got both of your starting pitchers back that were up for yes-no vote, right? Yes-no wheel spin. So that's a good addition there to get another solid player like that. So next up we got Nolan Pack, Fletcher, and Venner. And that's between the 3 teams that are left. So San Antonio, Minnesota, and San Antonio. Iowa, Minnesota, San Antonio. Iowa is going to get Nolan Pack, reliever. John Fletcher, 93 power, 66 contact against righties. So he's mostly a right-handed masher catcher. He's going to go to San Antonio. And the next guy, Shane Venner, going to go to Minnesota. So Minnesota continues to stay losing. They were on a couple of custom players lists, and they just could not get anybody. It's just Minnesota just continues to struggle. They continue to struggle. So they'll get Shane Venner, and this guy was from Las Vegas. He has not been very, very solid. So they're looking at this guy like, you know what, you're a veteran presence. Maybe you'll be a relief guy. He's been a starter his entire career, so he's kind of looking at it too like, you know what, I'm 34 years old, and I'm kind of losing a little grip on this thing, and I just want to keep pitching. So, yep, that's probably a good spot for him is Minnesota. Toil away out there in Minnesota. So I will go ahead and get all that processed, guys. From this point forward, once all of these dudes that we just went down the list, once all these dudes sign, I will end up turning on the CPU for free agent stuff, and I will give you guys a update in Discord on that, where these guys are going to go. A lot of this, honestly, I mean, people, do you really care about Jose Andino? You know, I don't know. Do you really care about Ken Medrano? Probably not. Like, these guys are just depth people as it is. Quentin Weiss, Walker Kaufman, you know, 75C. Like, people normally just don't care about this stuff. It's okay. But like, when I see these names, I'm familiar with them. Like, I know who these people are. Vancouver. Let's play a game. Yeah, Abraham Pedroza, Vancouver. Let's do Dino Casilla, Columbus. Yeah, look at that. Mark Cullen, Richmond. Yeah, look at that. Will Smith, Chicago. Boom. Daryl Vargas, Washington, then Colorado. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. What about somebody like way down here? Just let's play a game. Souza Barbosa, Wisconsin, then Oklahoma City. Hey, we got another Nolan Pack. I never noticed that. We have 2 Nolan Packs. Matt Tate, Colorado all the way. Yep, there he is. Colorado all the way. That's a tough one. Monty Buck. That feels like Wisconsin. No, Washington. That was my first one wrong, guys. Jackie Schreiber, Philadelphia. It'll say Orlando here now, but Philadelphia and Colorado. Orlando, and then Colorado. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I know where these people go. I know who these people are. But maybe most of you guys don't. Most of you guys don't care. Then that's okay. But I'll turn the CPU on for everybody else, starting at Daryl Vargas at 80 overall. And again, the reason why I'm doing that is because I have to get tender contracts done manually for all these teams. But if you want to be updated on where those guys go, I can just do a little quick recording and plop that in to an unlisted video or something, and let you guys know through Discord or stuff like that, so that you're just in the know about where guys are going. But yeah, once I get tender contracts done, we'll move on over here to free agency, turn that on to auto, make sure that all those teams are signing up guys and getting those 93 men out of the organization, and and then that'll be it. So no trades to do in the off season. I know, kind of a little boring not having one, but I just takes a lot of time, and I just want to get the season started. Honestly, I want to see how Satchel Michaels is going to do with Boston. I mean, that's really been the story here so far in this off season. Michaels and KAJ going to Boston. That's a big one. Jericho and Shannon. So kind of the losers this year looks like to be Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. They didn't do anything. They did nothing, which kind of stinks, man. Who went to Wisconsin in that wheel spin? Anybody? Yeah, we did wheel spin them, so I guess I just forgot who it was. At least this is recorded, and I don't have to go back. But as far as like custom players and who's going where, like again, Rick White, that was a big win for Phoenix. New Orleans, that's a big move. That's a big move. All right, guys. Well, I will catch you guys in the next one. Again, I've got some work to do, and I'll let you know how it all goes, and if there's anything that pops up that's interesting, I'll make sure to share it with you. But yeah, we're getting started here with season 7, and I should be able to get opening day posted for you guys by, give me until about the I'm gonna be conservative on it and give me until the 24th. Give me about 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks, and we'll get the GGBL back up and going, guys. So the 24th, January 24th. Is when we'll go ahead and get Season 7 started with opening day action. Again, because I got to get through all the lineups, right? I got to make sure all the lineups are optimized. I get pitching rotations, 40-man, all that stuff. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out and watching those wheel spin simulator. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.